YouTubing and rumbling.
All that jazz.
Oh, I love it. Herp and Hope, look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. It's the Kimmer Show podcast number 551. Excuse me as we speak. It's Monday, the 8th of May already, 2023. With Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Flounder at El Flounder. Where's Kitty?
He's around here somewhere.
He ran out the door when I came in.
Well, and I every time we leave the podcast, he races for the door. He loves to go out and scratch and rub himself on the concrete sidewalk. Yeah. And he goes out there and he flips and he scratches and has a good time on the sidewalk. And I keep saying he's going to run. He's going to chase a squirrel, and it's
up that tree.
Yeah, or even worse, run into whatever. Anyway, but Flounder's all over him, so we're good. But anyway,
there's Kitty Cat. Hi, little boy. Oh, he says, I don't think I got a treat, but I'll give you a little bit. But yeah, he says, I'm a good boy.
You goofy. Anyway, it's Monday. We got a million things to do here, and. We'll talk weekend stuff. We got topics and issues and things, including. Let me do a couple of quick thank yous. And again, if you would like to help us out here at the podcast, we are. If you go to thekimmershow.net, that will link up. You can Google scroll for anything to contact us on PayPal, Patreon.com. We have Venmo. Did we do that? A lot of people doing that. In fact, this portion of the Kimmer podcast, once again, sponsored by Denise. Who sent us in? She keeps in. I'm just going to send her the box of thank you notes. I'm going to put a big sign on them. She's so sweet to do this. Joseph, he's a monthly subscriber. Joseph, we really several cheeseburgers, and he said Trump couple of cheeseburger, Biden ketchup sandwich. Thanks for the laughs. Michael got us a divisible by 3 deal, and Michelle. Also, a very nice donation the other day. Thank you, Michelle. Chris, also big time Charlie. Chris, many cheeseburgers. You guys make me laugh. Really wish you're back on the radio. Apologies for the lag in support. Anyway, and Nicholas again. Thank you so much, everybody. This is again. We have literally hundreds of thousands of people who tune in over the course of the year, but only a few hundred people who actually subscribe or send us a monthly thing. Not that we're complaining. It's a free podcast. But again, if you can do something to help us keep this going, that would be great. It's Monday, weekend time. Now, I know what Pete had going today. I'm not sure about the weekend. Flounder, how was your weekend? Anything new? Anything going on?
What did I do this week? I went to the Braves game yesterday, which had a really great ending, but when you have a 4-year-old and a almost 6-year-old there, we had to...
Ooh, they got a little antsy by the... Did you stay the whole game with a 4 and 6?
No, we left around the 6th inning.
I was going to say, there's no way they can last.
But Hank got to see a home run, so that was cool. So we had fun. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, excellent. And we'll do a little Holy Crap at Sports with Pete here later, I assume later on today, Monday.
Yes, yeah.
Who has a fresh shave? I've noticed.
Yeah, you got the full head.
Well, I did had
there. And also
you found the razor
and everything. I mean, you did the whole deal.
I had the test done this morning. They had to shave me.
All right, well, hold on a minute. Well, we'll get to your. Okay, now first of all, any weekend in the Macon Mountains of any kind?
I went. I
deer
took
hunting
a nice drive and went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday.
Really? I didn't know they even had a new one out. And is that? Chris Pine or some of those guys?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Well, you know what? By the way, what a. He's gone from being a stupid doofus, innocent clunkhead on Parks and Rec to being a superhero guy that you believe. I mean, when I saw him in, what's the movie where they got Osama bin Laden? 23 Hours or 0300 or whatever it is.
Deep Down 6.
No. It's called 0300.
Zero Dawn 30 or something.
Something Zero Dawn 30. And he played one of the Navy SEALs. And you believe that, he was a great actor. It's amazing. Good for him.
He's the #1 star in the world.
It's unbelievable.
He did the voice of the Mario Brothers, and that's the biggest movie of the year.
It's flabbergasted. Good. I mean,
and he's a Christian.
It?
He talks about, when he gets awards, he says, learn how to pray. I mean, seems a good guy.
Isn't he married to somebody we know?
He was married to an actress, a cute blonde from Mom.
He's married to Schwarzenegger's daughter.
But then they got divorced, and he married Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger's daughter. Yeah.
Anyway, good for him. Now, today, this morning,
I got 2 women stabbing me 3 times.
Ooh, to get blood?
To get blood. And they put the needle in, and they just sit there and go, well, where's the blood? And the second one turned to the other one, and she goes, I know he has blood. I saw him walk in here. And she goes, yeah, if he walked in there, he's probably got blood.
Well, didn't you squeeze the hand, the palm, of the whole deal?
I have the worst. They can never find the vein. And today it took 3 stabs.
Oh, that's.
I'm not hurting you, am I, sweetie? No.
All right. Now, so this was
I'm like all bandaged up, and I look like you with the damn Band-Aid.
Yeah, I know. By the way, that I took it off. It was here. Pete made fun of my bandage the other day. It's like a bright, almost a flesh color, but it's bright.
I don't know
you
anyone.
Can't help. I mean, it's not flesh. It's almost like a pink, light salmon color.
As George Carlin said, I don't know anyone with that color.
I had that. I totally forgot it. I did a thing. Anyway, so it's and I put that Band-Aid on. It was there when you saw it on Friday or Thursday. Last Thursday, it had been on for 5 days and looked brand new. You know why? It's a it's called Sport Comfort something, a Band-Aid, and it's called a Sport Bandage or Sport something, and it's padded, and it's the best bandage I ever saw in my life. Never came off. It was stuck. It was perfect, and it looked brand new after 5 days. When's the last time you had a Band-Aid look brand new after 5 days? I mean, it might have been $20 a box. I have no idea. When I go to the store, I buy 7 things and pay for it and go home. So I don't know what they cost. If I need it, I buy it. Don't you?
Yeah.
Do you shop for? I mean, if you need a box of
you get a box of Band-Aids. You use one and you'll lose the box.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, but no, I buy. Yeah, I've got them all over the place.
But Saturday, I found the cord to my razor. Is what happened.
Oh, well, now you shaved everything.
I walked outside in the yard.
You were looking kind of bushy, I got to say. You were like a mountain man down there in the mountains of Macon.
Well, I had to fit in. I had to blend in.
I know. So what? Why everything's gone now?
It's going to be 80 all week.
Well, I know. So it's just a heat thing?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Plus, I'm dashingly handsome.
There you are. So you didn't get yourself a little little honey on the side says, I don't like that hair stuff.
When I shave it and I look in the mirror, I see my dad looking back at me. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I'm a spitting image of my father, they tell me.
Amazing.
We've seen pictures of him before. Well, not spitting him, but if there's, I'm one of 5 kids, and my mother's favorite. And if you saw the pictures of all the family, you'd say that he and I were the ones. Anyway, and so now, so the physical was what, for a routine thing, or
annual thing.
Now, what health plan do you have? Do you have like your own private one? Because you're not. Are you?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the Kimmer Media doesn't have a health plan. No. Flounder, sorry to tell you, but so now did she just go shopping for one or what?
Yeah, you can go shopping for it.
Okay, now and how much do you pay a month? About?
Oh God, that's a good.
I think
question.
I have social social
because of my age, and I'm not making as much as I used to. It's not bad actually. It's about. Let me think.
I think
it's less than 200. I think.
Yeah, I think my Social Security plan A and B is still something like $300 a month. Even however, my Humana supplemental thing is now 0. When I hit 77, they stopped charging me.
You're 77?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
But I read at the 80-year-old level, so a little respect, you bastard. Anyway, all right. Now the physical and what did they?
Right. Well, the first time ever, he asked me, "Do you want me to check your genitals?" And
well,
you should. Usually, he just says, "Roll over." There's no asking. I guess you hit a certain age, and they ask you.
I know they do it.
Well, he probably would have said. Maybe he would have. If I'd said, "No, not this year," he probably would have said, "Yeah."
That's you can't decide whether you want to have. Oh my God! Okay, let me say this again.
Do I have a choice?
I had prostate cancer. Okay, and my father had prostate cancer. He got his when he was 84. If all men lived to be over 100 years old, all men would die with prostate cancer. I will tell you now that the last research I saw years ago said or estimated that based on autopsies of guys who died of a heart attack or cancer or COVID or whatever it is, that they've done autopsies and found out an incredible number of percentage of men had prostate cancer when they died and never knew it. Prostate cancer is one of those that can be in there and you'll never know what happened. My father was 84 or something. Anyway, so but you can't take a chance. In fact, my doctor, it was a routine physical. They gave me the old bingity bang bang and the old boopity boppity, and he said, "Oop, I feel something, but it doesn't feel good." And he felt a growth on the outside of the gland, and he said, "That's the problem." And thank God, because then they did a biopsy, and that was no fun right there in the office.
I don't know how they can tell as quickly as they do it, because it's like in and out.
They feel it.
Yeah, but they're not really there that long.
They don't need. That's all they need.
Or
if they feel something on the thing.
You got me worried now. You got me thinking maybe my doctor hates me.
Well, maybe the doctor was off, and that was his neighbor. He was
What's
delivering
that
pizzas.
joke? The one thing you don't want to hear in a doctor's room after your examination is the nurse come in and go, "Who was that guy?
Well, that guy. Does he work here? Or is that,
Where should I put my pants?
New?
Hey,
Over
Doc.
there next to mine. Well, he put his left hand on my left shoulder. No, wait, he put his right hand on my right. Anyway. All right, now so that's good. Well, that's good.
He said, "Yeah, it's still there." You know?
Yeah, well, that's important. But again, they shouldn't ask. They should do it automatically. Over the age
it
of
kind of
40
threw me
now.
for a second. What do you want me to? Maybe he was just being, conversational because
No,
it's always
that's
an awkward.
wrong.
That's an
Wrong.
awkward part of the visit. The pull your pants down. There you go.
Well, I remember the last time before I had cancer, I was going to my doctor, Dr. Moak. You never croak with Moak. I used to say that on air 30 years ago, in the 90s, for God's sakes. And one of my physicals, I went over there, and he had a new assistant, and the assistant said, "Okay, drop your pants, we'll give you the thing." And it was a woman, and a girl doctor, and by the way, was good looking.
Oh,
And
boy.
fairly like 30 and built.
So you got to.
And so she said, "Okay." I said, go ahead and take off your pants. And I said, "Yeah, as soon as you take off your top." And she said, I said, "Are you a doctor?"
Oh,
And she's, "No, I know." And I said, "Are you a doctor?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, I want my doctor. I want my doctor who knows about these things because he's got one to do my exam." And I wasn't offensive about it. I said,
Yeah,
"Well,
you did. You told her to pull her shirt
off."
off.
Well, I may have just said that in my mind. Either way, I was joking. Anyway, and so I had him come in to do it. I'm paying. It's my freaking
He's
body.
busy. He's lining up a golf tournament.
I'm paying for it.
He's got his golf
It's my money.
times to get ready for.
Anyway, and now they say, "Well, woman has smaller fingers." I don't. Please, you're killing me here.
They got grease. You know.
I've done-
That's the thing. If anyone doesn't do it,
Yeah.
it's not painful.
It's nothing to
It's
it. It takes
nothing.
4 seconds at the
Yeah, boop,
most.
boop.
And it's over. And my people get, and it's not, and then you go, and then you're done. You go home. Now, take me out to the ball game.
It's when they hold each testicle in their hand and go cough.
Gently.
It's like,
And now, did you get chest X-ray and all that stuff?
Oh, no,
and
you don't- no.
EKG or any of that stuff. So this was
that's
just blood
that's
test.
for the cardiologist. This is the GP.
I got you.
Just
So this was it wasn't any big
At
deal.
one point, even he goes, "So you breathing okay? Yeah. Heart doing okay? Yeah. You got diabetes?" And I was like, "Not that I know
don't
of.
think
I
so."
hope not." Knock on
Wouldn't the
wood.
blood work show?
Isn't that your job to
Yeah,
tell
I was
me?
you would tell me if I.
I could have done this 2 hours away up in Tennessee.
Did you ever watch 30 Rock and they had the comedian play the doctor? What was his funny name?
Oh, God, he was-
Xenophilus or
oh, he
something.
was so funny.
What was his fake name? It was a takeoff on an actual bad name, like Stupidity or something. Dr. I'm Syphilis or whatever.
Oh.
And he said, "Well, I've got your blood result test here." And he said, I don't know how to say this to you. Dia depapapus, dia tipatitis. And the guy, "No, diabetes. I didn't know how to say it to you." What the hell was his name? Oh, I'm dying over his stupid name.
Everybody knows, they'll tell us.
Dr. Shiftless, something or other. Oh, it's something like that. Huh?
No. 30 Rock.
30 Rock, and he played the doctor.
You don't see him in anything else.
He's
He's so funny.
He was great. He was very funny, very dry and and subtle, sarcastic wit.
Damn.
And he was in a couple of shows, and he was great. And then I haven't seen him. Maybe he doesn't like the
Dr.
business.
Spaceman?
Dr. Spaceman, yeah.
Spaceman.
Yeah, and who was the black guy who almost got killed in a wreck? The comedian.
What's his name?
We used to call him Dr. Spaceman. It was Spaceman. That's what it was. Dr. Spaceman. Spaceman. Dr. Spaceman. Dr. Spaceman. That's what it was.
Tracy Morgan.
Dr. Spaceman.
Who?
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
Well, yeah, we'd call him Dr. Spaceman anyway. Sorry for the distraction. I bumped it.
Wasn't a specimen? Dr. Specimen or something?
No, it was Spaceman.
Okay.
It was Spaceman. Because he called him Dr. Spaceman. Speaking of Spaceman, have you heard? Apparently, the people, the programmers behind this possibility of getting slavery reparations for the black people in California have agreed to the demands, and they've passed on the proposal to go to the governor. And the latest proposal is, according to, I saw him actually say this out loud on television last night, the activist in charge of this whole deal, a minister, says if you take the value of 40 acres in Los Angeles today and the mule, you owe each and every black American in California, each and every one, $200 million a piece.
So let me get this straight. This was trending yesterday. A state that never allowed slaves is taking money from people who never owned slaves to give to people who never were slaves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Try and do that here.
And
I will not pay my
and
taxes.
They said, well, we're going to send this to the governor for his approval. I mean, it's unbelievable.
They try that shit here. I will not pay my taxes.
Oh, my God.
Just give it a shot.
Just the very. Why aren't they being laughed out and humiliated?
They are afraid
nationwide.
because the biggest crime, and I said this 30 years, I said they're going to get to the point
deadbeat,
where you can't
shiftless
even
losers.
look at someone committing a crime if they're a color. Basically, it's got to the point where the biggest crime you can do in our society is to be called a racist or a bigot, whether you do it or not. Whether you are or not. That's the crime. That's the biggest thing. They are so afraid, these white pussies, of being called a racist or a bigot that they will do anything. And there's no appeasing anybody.
Or transphobe now. Then now all of a sudden that's now a thing too. Anyway, we'll be talking about more about that stuff.
I'm not afraid of you. I just don't like you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, let's see. I hit balls this weekend again, and I had, just like always, crappy halfway through, and then I realized, oh yeah, I can make it this way. So anyway, that was one of these days.
Well, I'm assuming here in the future we'll have some more opportunities. So.
Well, the possibility of would be nice. I did today. This is really fun. I was the so-called celebrity guest speaker at a Marine Corps golf charity event at Cobblestone Golf Course. I used to play up there years and years. That's a beautiful golf course for a public course. Yep, this morning. So I was working at 3:30 this morning to try to finish the podcast stuff and my speech. I'm not I'm a terrible speaker. I'm a terrible public speaker, as we know.
He is.
I don't even want to. We all know this, and so I've been a wreck for weeks for this thing. Anyway, so I haven't had any sleep. So I finally got up there, and it was great. In fact, I've got some video of it's a little long, but I've got video of the color guard coming and the band playing, some music playing, and then the national anthem. And I've got the whole thing on video, and I'm going to send it on the Facebook and Rumble page here a little bit later on.
Send it to me too, and I'll have Mike put it on the website for us.
Well, excellent. I'll do that. And I gave a little, asked me about being in the Marines and stuff like that. And I met a lot of great people and a lot of, and this was fun. In fact, I think I put this on my Facebook page already. When I was there, Craig Moore is the guy who runs it's the MCL detachment number 1311, Cherokee County and Cobb County and so forth. And it was a charity golf tournament for the Marine Corps, and they helped veterans and junior ROTC and dependents of Marines, stuff like that. And so he had a surprise for me. I had my heart attack 10 years ago. As we recall, we went to work in November 5th, I think it was, or 3rd, whatever that Monday was, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, whatever that, November 5th, that's when 2013.
And let that be a lesson to you in any future endeavors, not to work yourself up
into a ladder. We went to work on a Monday, November 5th, Monday. That Sunday was the Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah.
No, it's a 5, 6, 7, 8.
But you didn't even show up for it. I had to do
that Sunday was the Marine Corps birthday. Yeah. That Sunday morning, I was with my daughter Jennifer. We went to the stable, took some pictures. And what the hell did I do? I gave her my car. What? How did I? Oh, for some reason, I know what it was. I had bought her a car. I gave her my car to trade in for another car that I was driving, his Jeep. Anyway, so I sent her on her way in her car to go back to Pennsylvania where she was living at the time. And then I went from the stable on the way home. Halfway home, I felt horrible. I had this horrible thing in the upper part of my throat. I never felt anything in my heart. Again, just a quick lesson to recap. I never felt anything in my heart or chest at all. It felt like I was going to throw up and like I had the flu. And it's like when you feel, all of a sudden I got like the head rush thing where I had cold sweats and so forth, but it was up in my upper throat, right below my Adam's apple, right up in here, was where I felt, man, I just feel terrible, like I'm gonna, I've got a bug or something, and I was afraid I was gonna, really do something terrible. So I pulled over and got out of the car because I was afraid if I passed out, nobody would see me in the car and they would just drive around me and nobody would. Yeah. So I actually got out of the car and just, stood there and kind of leaned on the car for a while, and then it felt better, and I got in the car and went home. So that was Sunday, Marine Corps birthday. Now, Monday, I went back to work because it was Veterans Day. Marine Corps birthday is the 10th, and Veterans Day, 11/11. So I didn't want to miss Veterans Day, so I went to work on Monday like an idiot. And I think you may recall during breaks, I was actually lying down on the floor.
In the office,
flat
on the
my
floor.
back.
Go to the doctor.
I really felt bad, and people were. In fact, later on, and I explained this. I felt like I got the flu. I got a thing up here, and it turned out later on, I had a bunch of doctors who told me, "You were having a heart attack, you idiot." Anyway, I had the heart attack on Sunday, but I never went to the hospital till Tuesday. And when they told me, I said, I remember what I said. It wasn't very nice to this beautiful little girl doctor. But anyway, I had a major freaking heart attack, and I had 2 stents and operate, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we were at work for 5 days. 5 days. They brought me out of retirement back to work with our little team here. 5 days that I'm in the hospital with a heart attack. I never heard from anybody at the station. They never, and they must
scared the shit out of them.
Can you imagine the meetings they must have had?
I was in them.
Heart attack. Oh my God.
I was in the meetings. And they're looking around. They're like shell shocked.
What are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
5 days.
It was Rob. I forget his name. Rob. He looked at me and goes, "Are you going to do the show?" I said, "Sure, I'll do the show." And they had no plan.
Yeah. There was no plan.
Well, who's going to do it? Oh, I'll do it. Okay, you'll do it.
But I would call in from the hospital bed. I called in from all the, we're doing the stuff. I called in from trying to get medicine. But again, and then I had my surgery, and I was only out really a few days. I wasn't that long, but it was only out a few days. I went back to work, and everyone was okay. But anyway, just a word to the wise: if guys or women, if you're feeling really goofy and you have kind of the head sweat, cold sweat, and you're feeling like you might be sick, but it's all up in here, might be a heart attack. And by the way, my heart, a part of my heart, I don't know, a quarter or a third of it, or whatever, is dead. I mean, part of my heart is never going to get better, but the rest of it has been improving. So it's not like I'm in bad shape. I'm very strong. My heart's very strong. I had the stress test. In fact, when I took my stress test, because I used to run marathon, I used to run every day. I used to run 12 miles a day for years. 2 hours I would go jogging every day. And when I had my heart attack, and when I took a stress test after I had my stuff in, my Dr. Adakaran, my heart doctor, actually halfway through said, "You can quit. You're good." He said we could do this all day long. He said your thing just went down like this and it's been steady ever since. He said you don't even have to finish it. You don't need to. And I think it's because all those years I was a runner. Anyway, so just a word of the wise. He said if I had gone to the doctor immediately, I might have even saved almost all of the heart tissue. So again, don't do what I did. I'm not a good example here. Sorry. Was that really boring as hell?
When you're starting a new job, don't stress out about it.
Well, don't feel like you really don't think.
Because that was the thing. You were so stressed out that first week.
Of course.
You were.
Well, again, the other thing was, when I retired, well, no, I don't even talk about it. I lost everything. Freaking, I thought you loved me instead of just using me. Sorry. No, really, it's good. Why should I, make you a millionaire? Then I'll go ahead and lose everything. Let's see what.
Bitter?
No, not now. No. 19 years just goes by like that. It was
over it now.
Incredible. Yeah. All right, hold on, Pete. We got a little something for you here. From our friend. Daisy. I got to find it now. Hold on. I got to find it. No, crap. I know it's right here somewhere. Here we go. The other day, you were telling us a story. One of our history notes the other day, last week, was concerning the first Grammy Awards back in, I think, 1959 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And the first country music, was it country music or folk music? Whatever. First country music, I think, Grammy Award went to the Kingston Trio.
Yes, sir.
And you told the story.
And it was wrong.
Tell the story. Do you remember what you said originally?
Well, it wasn't me. Jason did.
Well, no. But what you said
led me down a wrong road. No.
Well, no. When I said Kingston Trio, you said, speaking of the Kingston Trio, which is why I brought it up.
I put a photo of Buzz Capper, the old Braves pitcher, and Jason goes, his parents wrote the song Scotch and Soda.
Right, which Jason's dad, Bob Shane, sang and made a huge hit out of.
Right.
And so you said it was...
Buzz Capra, but it wasn't.
Well, now I got a message. I got a message from Jason over the weekend and said, "Please tell Pete I screwed up. It was Tom Seaver's parents that gave Dad scotch and soda. Oops, sorry." And I said, "Oh, I'll tell him it was his mistake." Just for the record. But how cool is that? Tom Seaver's parents?
Yeah, we're songwriters.
We're songwriters.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And today something went gold. Farron Young's
Hello Walls.
Hello Walls. And you know who wrote that?
Who?
Willie Nelson.
In fact, Flounder, do you still have my thing over there?
Pardon me?
Can you do? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's what she said. Way across the room.
Is the other one the chorus theme?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Gotcha.
It's Empire of the Sun. It's a beautiful.
Yeah. It's the main theme.
Yeah. I think
movie?
it's just well, the movie.
That's a
Empire
long
of the
movie, man.
Oh no, it's a 3-hour movie. I was on the other day and I DVR'd
Christian
it.
Bale was a child actor.
He was magnificent. He was like 11 or 12 years old, and he was spectacular. He's a British actor, and as a kid they found him, and he was unbelievable. Empire of the Sun. And
that's where
the beginning,
his parents are killed in the war. And
well,
he's
no,
left
they're
on his
kidnapped. They're taken hostage, and he's separated.
I remember that.
It's a hell of a
He
story.
goes into that abandoned house. And
John Malkovich.
It's a great. It's a long, ponderous, wonderful movie. It's beautifully done. Wow. And the best part to me at the beginning was the song. The opening theme is a boys' choir singing that beautiful theme song. And so I'm having Flounder asking him to put that on my little magic stick, along with Judy Collins's "Someday Soon," which we mentioned last week, which I really liked. And again, if you can put Farron Young "Hello Walls" on there, I love that song too. That's a great singing song. I love singing. I sing in my car, and I pick songs that have great melodies and great harmonies because I always sing the low harmony and then the high harmony when I'm driving.
Oh, you do you?
I'm not. Well, it's because I'm always alone. Who's going to hear me?
Rocco says, "Hey Pete, how many times have you heard the heart attack story?"
Oh boy, it's been 10 years, you bastard! Jeez, you people are brutal.
The man had a heart attack.
All right, now one more thing about me getting, and I swear we have actual things here to talk about. I got another note here. Remember, I've showed you a couple of times where people will write notes to me on my horse videos. I reply to my horse videos and say, "Dear sir, you are sounding like a wonderful person. Please, however, because of I'd like to have your friendship of guiding me for the so-and-so." And I always just ignore them. Well, listen to this one. From Rhodes Carter, who I believe is a guy.
Oh.
Is that can you tell by that face?
Well, I could be.
I can't tell you. It's
That's
androgynous.
Rhonda is her name.
No, it's Rhodes. Rhoades.
Oh.
Could be a girl's name. I don't know, but it's Rhodes. Anyway, it says, "Hi, handsome. How are you doing? I'm Carter." Carter. Oh, so it's reverse Carter Rhodes. Maybe that is a girl. Anyway, I'm Carter, and stranger on here saw your profile. I love the syntax. Okay. How are you doing? I'm Carter, and stranger on here saw your profile, and it's looks nice to add you. If you don't mind, can you please accept my request or send me so that we can chat to know more about each other, cuz to be honest with you, I'm really single, never been married with no kids. What the hell is this, a dating thing now?
It's Russian.
What the, and the grammar, the syntax. I mean, come on. This is a bot or some fake, Russian oligarch's staff trying to get my money. Like I have any. How would they not know that I don't have any?
No,
you can't get anything.
They're fishing for money.
But you think? But how come not?
It could be AI. You can really ask ChatGPT, write a love letter on Facebook in a Russian broken English syntax, and it'll do it.
I know. I guess. Anyway, I blocked her.
Good.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not, this is not, I put the horse videos on for people to enjoy and just, or don't. What now?
Rocco said, "Today I received my number 20 badge. I've heard that story 20 times.
That's a damn lie, you bastard.
There's easier way to get content for the show than having a heart attack. This is going to be great for the show.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to this one. I'm going to make a great tease out of that opening. A couple things going on. We got various things happening here. I got a little surprise for Pete, too. Doonesbury. We've been talking about... Oopsie-daisy. We're talking about AI and things like that. You just mentioned it. Here is when I was at the Marine thing today, I actually forgot. I'm such a bad speaker. I was going to make a point. One of the charities that the MCL 1311 unit did is to raise money for junior ROTC, junior ROTC, which is the kids learning how to be a military bound and so forth and so forth. And I remembered I was going to talk to him about the differences in the day and age, because when I first went to college, if you went in the 60s to a state university, you probably were required to take ROTC. Part of when you signed up, you had to go to the gym, and you got a uniform and everything else, and you had to go to once a week. You had drill in your uniform on the campus. State universities were mandatory ROTC back in the 50s and 60s. Anyway, that's all gone. And I reminded him. I was going to try to remind him. I forgot about taking my 22 to show and tell back in the day. So I'm glad they're still doing junior ROTC. But here I saw this in Dunes. What's the matter? You all right over there? Good night, sir. I saw this over the weekend in Doonesbury, and I thought this kind of fits, again, what's going on, especially as when you realize the divide in the generations, which is why I frequently try to point out the differences between things I may be thinking of and Flounder, because he's 42 or whatever, and that's a perfect...
44.
44 now? 44. Oh, my God.
You're 44?
That's a great number, by the way.
Anyway,
but check this out. It's two like middle-aged, a man and woman, and they're at an outdoor bar, and it's kind of like a resort bar or something, okay? And there's a young bartender behind the bar, and they're just outdoor having a good time outside at a bar. And the parent and the father says, "So, what year are you, son?" He says, "I'm a junior, sir." "Ah, my favorite year, total blast," says the dad. The wife says, "Any thoughts on a career yet?" And the kid says, "Well, I was on track to become a creative, but it looks like creatives will be replaced by AI promptives. I've always been good at keywords, and I like the news, so I might just become a journalism promptive, although I'd really consider prompting in art or law, so what do you folks do?" And the guy goes, "I'm a lawyer." And she says, "Artist." And he says, "Wow, sorry. Do you guys have, like, side hustles?" What's a promptive?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
I mean, I can't. It's unbelievable.
I've never
and now
heard
it's a
of it.
national cartoon that everybody
no
gets
one
it, but
reads
me.
Doonesbury.
Well, I know, but again,
You know what? That's a word in his little circles there in
I know,
Manhattan.
but still, I mean, it's just once again, I'm going, oh my God.
What is it promptive there, Flounder?
I don't create. He wants to be a creative, which is, I guess, an influencer.
No, AI is going to do that. Yeah.
But why would it be an AI creative? He makes the AIs?
No
I mean,
more
I don't know what these are.
No more copy edit. I was going to ask my doctor today about that they're using AI and I said, they're going to replace you with AI?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hard to do a diagnosis with a patient with a computer.
Hey, even a computer can say, "Hey, do you want me to touch your genitals or
that'd
not?"
be $200.
No, I don't think it's. I think where AI comes a benefit is them performing certain procedures that, with doctors and hands and movement and stuff like that.
Well,
I'm
they
sure.
can ask a lot of the questions he asked me, and AI can ask me.
Yeah.
A computer could ask me those questions.
And put it on a form, I guess.
The nurse that comes in and asks you about you still taking the same drugs?
Basic blood pressure and all that stuff.
Well, you just put your arm in there and it does it.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's already.
In fact, the guy, the Peter Zeihan guy I was telling you about, he says one of the people, you go in your doctor's office and what do you see behind the scenes? You see a lot of women walking around doing stuff. They're calling the insurance companies. They're putting this stuff together. They're doing all the back work for the doctor. He goes, that's going to be gone. Their AI is going to do all of that from now on.
Signing you in for an appointment and stuff.
Those jobs are going to be poof.
Well, I mean, look, I mentioned the other day, I tried to pay my Comcast bill. She points me to the wall to go do my own billing with my own, get a new key code and my address. And
to the corner.
Take my own, my God.
I
know. Pete, you'll be thrilled to hear this, my friend. I got to make sure I didn't lose any generation gap. Yeah. And this other thing about the kid, the bartender guy's a junior. Before long, why even have college?
That's what Jordan Peterson says.
Seriously.
It's going to put half of them out of business.
And colleges are no longer going to be able to charge $80,000 a year, to have people go sit at their own computer and do their own thing. Because AI is going to be able to teach you how to do stuff to work with AI.
they're going to have to come up with something that makes you want to go stay there on campus, because otherwise you're going to sit at home and do it.
It's the next progression to that great computer guy who teaches people on the computer, and it's called somebody's college.
Khan.
K-A-H-N or K-N-A? K-A-N, whatever.
Like Genghis.
Khan, yeah, Khan. And it's great. And you say, you
It
want to
is.
learn geometry? Here you go. And he'll teach you on your own computer. Anyway, but why go to college? It's certainly not going to be worth it. Now,
for journalism.
Pete, are you ready for this? I'm reading you a headline from the weekend. Maybe it might have been this morning. I can't remember. I don't remember. I don't have. I tore the date off. It's from Nedra Roan, and here's the headline. It was from yesterday's Sunday morning's paper. Headline: Accuser's death is not closure for Emmett Till. I swear to God, there's another Emmett Till story.
It'll never be closure because there's money to be made. They don't want closure. They won't check.
My God. The stretch of 71st Street, renamed Emmett Till Road, is literally around the corner from where I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Renamed, come on.
Blow me.
Jeez. Okay, rub it in. I killed the little bastard. I'm sorry. I thought he was did a white girl thing, and I shot him myself. Take me away. You come and get me. Jeez, I feel guilty. Every week I read about what I did to Emmett Till. It's Mississippi. You can't go to Mississippi, you racist bastards. Oh.
You seen those great ads they're running during the Braves games about Visit Mississippi, and they had the black man and his son, and they're going to all the musical places, Clarksdale.
Well, good for them. By the way, speaking of ads, I saw this the other day. Tell me what you think of this. I'm going to get the thing with the thing.
All right.
Okay, I saw an ad. It's an ad for a brand new, some kind of a burger at Burger King. By the way, Burger King shutting down thousands of restaurants. Burger King is getting creamed by...
On the way over here, I couldn't eat all day, so I grabbed a Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at 11:45, just pack. Not a block down the road is the Wendy's. And it's not a bad Wendy's. I've been there. Not a soul in the drive. Not a soul in the drive.
That's the one I always go to because it's right by my house. The customer service sucks.
Really?
I mean, it's not the worst, but again, the prices keep on skyrocketing at Wendy's. I mean, I tell you guys this all the time, but I'll go get a double cheeseburger and fries, and it's $11.
Here's what happened to
At a Wendy's.
I got the single, I got the medium fries, and I got the strawberry lemonade, which is fantastic, by the way.
Bet.
And I got a salad for this morning. The only thing I could eat. It was $20.
Wow.
$20.
Here we go.
It was good, though.
Well, I saw it. All right, now tell me if this reminds you of anything. I'm going to give you the next thing. It's a TV. It shows a beautiful burger, great big damn thing, like big huge burger. It's a new kind of a Whopper or something or other. And the announcers look at the video, and the announcer says, "It's a tasty looking burger." Pulp Fiction? Do you mind if I take that? That's a tasty looking burger. Do you mind if I take a bite of your tasty look? Don't you remember that?
Yeah, then he also goes,
have
mind
a
if I
sip
take
of your
your
drink?
Sprite so I can quench down
Wash
this.
it down?
Okay.
That looks like a tasty burger. I can't believe you didn't.
I enjoyed that movie, but I did not memorize the lines from that movie.
Well, it's not that. When I lay my hands upon... I mean, you know some of those lines.
They chewed up the scenery a lot in that movie.
Well, it was a ridiculous movie, but it was, when it's on, I DVR'd, and I watched probably 4 scenes or whatever.
What was in the briefcase that glowed? What was it?
His
We never
soul.
knew.
They never
Apparently it was his soul.
Yeah,
but again,
we
they never.
never-
It's
Well,
one
how
of the-
would you know that by looking at that somebody's
It was
soul?
stupid. The whole thing was stupid. It's,
Again, that's what makes Quentin Tarantino's movies. He makes you guess, or he makes you think.
I mean, we know he's got a foot fetish, and he's a goof.
He's
and a
got
freak.
an inward fetish, is
And
what he
that
has.
too, yeah. And I love the fact. I did it again to
What does the
check the other
sign out
day.
say?
Django Unchained once again the other day was on BET. BET edits out the N-word. Django. BET.
Poor Glenn Kuiper wishes that he had edited his
Oh,
out, too.
well,
That
let's
poor
talk about
bastard.
that. In fact, I got it right here. 2 things. I'm sorry you didn't get my Pulp Fiction reference to the tasty-looking burger. Vita Blue died at the age of 73.
Yeah, one of my favorites when I was a kid.
And he, do we know a cause yet? It was no cause
Well,
of
he
death
was
listed.
older and...
Was it drug? He had a drug issue years and years ago.
No, he's just old. He was older.
He was 73.
What?
Vida Blue died at the age of 73.
Well, the last time I saw him, he didn't look good. So,
But they listed, and the story I saw said no cause of death. But you would think at 73 they would have tried to find, there must have been some history of something.
well, if the body sometimes replenishes itself, and sometimes you do so much damage that.
Well, he had, years before he had some serious issues, and then he fell off the wagon again, whatever. But anyway, 73.
Well,
he was one of I think 11 pitchers in history to win both the Cy Young and the MVP award, and he went to the majors when he was 19.
Let me tell you
He
about
won.
this guy.
He won the Rookie of the Year when he was 19.
Let me tell you about this guy. Greg Harvey put this out here. Players in Major League Baseball history have all of the following in their career: MVP, Cy Young, 3 World Series titles, and 200 wins. Vida Blue. That's
The only
it.
one for all 4 of those. Yeah.
And to me, that's Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's in Oakland's Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I think that's
How is
ridiculous.
it not possible in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
No one's ever. Oh my
I know.
God!
He had 200-plus wins. He won
That
World Series.
Don, our pitcher was all the Los Angeles Dodgers and then the Braves.
Sutton.
Don Sutton. I mean,
He's
you
in the
get
Hall of
200.
Fame.
Of course, you get 200 wins. You go to the Hall
He's
of Fame.
got 300.
Well, yeah, 300. But still, I mean, I remember when that was, that's the thing.
No, 300 was, but now it's going to be 200.
Wow, that's
He
unbelievable.
was their left-handed ace. Jim Catfish
Yeah.
Hunter was the right-hander, and it was
Great
him
mustache.
and Blue Moon Oldham, who's also a right-hander, I think.
Great mustache.
And a few others. Ken, who was that big, tall? Ken Holtzman.
Yeah.
He played for them and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the heart of that team.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. I don't get that. Let me. Speaking of one more baseball thing, and again, holy crap! It's sports later on today. The best sports and podcast
Don't
in
fall
America.
asleep.
I was watching the Braves the other day over the weekend, and what a great ending! With Harris hits that knockoff double, whatever, a walk-off deal. And the announcers were saying when Max Fried was pitching against whoever the guy was at that game over the weekend, it was the first time that 2 Jewish pitchers opposed each other on the mound. And in all of Major League Baseball today, there are only 14 Jewish players. You can't say 14 Jews. You got to say 14 Jewish.
One.
Well, you can't say 14 Jews in baseball. You got to say 14 Jewish people.
Get this out of your system.
I know.
The guy who hit the winning home run Saturday night's Jewish.
Yeah.
Kevin Pillar.
Well, again,
I didn't know that.
There's only 14 Jewish players in baseball. How is that possible?
Okay. What the joke thing?
Well,
was
they're
always-
obviously discriminating against you Jewish people.
What was it? The airplane? It says, do you have anything
Famous
short to
Jewish
read?
athletes.
It's just, how about famous Jewish athletes?
A pamphlet. But again, you would think just on general principle.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Look at all the neighborhoods. Chicago Highland Park, and outside of Chicago, it's all Jewish, and all those kids play Little League Baseball, and they're all great athletes. I mean, how many communities in America are significantly Jewish populations that are upper middle class and Little League
But
Baseball
I don't
and all
think
the Babe Ruth and everything?
after a certain age, I think the Jewish kids are, especially the boys, are pushed into a professional career.
Well, I guess.
Not sports.
Yeah. By the way, Sweet Judy, the J girl, just paid us another very nice donation.
Oh,
Judy, you're so
Judy.
sweet on Venmo. God bless you. Anyway, I couldn't believe there's only 14 Jewish baseball players. Now, speaking of Glenn Kuiper is the Oakland A's announcer who's been suspended or fired. He's been suspended. I don't think he's been fired yet. He was. They were doing a pregame thing or a broadcast thing with his partner, and they're on the air on TV, and he was talking about the dedication and the things inside the Negro League Museum. The Negro League Baseball Museum.
In Kansas City.
The Kansas City Negro League Baseball Museum. And now I heard the soundbite, and I'll tell you what it sounded like to me was he said, and it wasn't real loud. It kind of went up, but he said, here, the Kansas City Negro League Museum. As though he was saying Negra, as the old Southerners used to say it.
That's not what I heard.
But it didn't sound like he was saying the N-word.
I don't think.
Immediately he came on and apologized because they said, oh, my God, you can't say
what
the
I
N-word
said-
on TV.
What I said, they're more afraid of being called, whether he did it or not, he's more afraid of being called a racist and bigot. And you know damn well he's probably
no
not a
way.
bigot.
Oh, there's no
And of
way.
course they go back through his entire history. Well, look what he said here.
No,
Look what he said here.
Stop. That's crap.
I think he was trying to say Negro League, and he just every once in a while you'll say a word and you'll screw that word up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that word sounds so much like the bad word, and he started saying he basically. I'm not going to say it because God knows I don't want him parked outside my valley, but I don't want to hear the.
Well, it was like raw at the end of it.
No, I don't think it was the beginning that was the problem because it sounded more like N-I instead of N-E.
I thought it was N-E to me. But anyway, but again. And even though if you hear Google
the guy
it,
next to him didn't even flinch. He didn't think it was anything.
There was no way that I would have. If you had said to me, "What did he just say?" I said he was talking about the Negro League Museum. There's no way that I thought he said the N-word museum. That's bullshit. That never happened. And now it's over for him.
He's probably fired.
There's no way in Oakland.
Oakland.
You ever been to Oakland?
Yeah. Oakland's had a closet
Let's check the
racist.
demographics in Oakland, California.
That's why he'll be fired.
Jeez, Mizo.
I
mean, but again, it's so for
that's the
nothing.
best thing for him.
It's not a thing.
Get the hell out of Oakland.
You know, in fact, one of the guys today at the Marine Corps thing today, Craig Moore, I think it was, who led the thing, was saying that he mentioned a couple of we did teachers at farmhouseprintingco.com, which is coming up here as a sponsor mention in just 1 second. At the farmhouse. Well, two of the first T-shirts I put out were one of them was "Not everything is a thing." I mean, and my daughter Jennifer got one of those because she said, boy, is that rude. Think about it. Not everything that happens is really a thing, okay? The second thing is you do not have the right to never be offended. Nowhere is it in God's Constitution or in the Bible or anywhere else that says you will never be offended your entire life. You have the right to never be offended. No, I mean, there's no such thing. And he said, you know, these people are finding ways, and it's because of this. It's because of the social media spreading everything. Oh, they said the N-word on Oakland A's broadcast.
Let's get
my
him.
God, get rid of him, kill him.
Get the bonfire ready.
They want to kill the Marine who held back the guy in the subway platform. They want to kill him. Ocasio Bang Stupidio, AOC, wants him dead, wants him executed as a murderer.
You know that guy, that black guy, once tried to kidnap a 7-year-old girl?
One of his more than 40 arrests, ladies and gentlemen.
Which is why he shouldn't have been breathing anyway.
Oh, my God. The father should have shot him when it happened. I'd have shot him. And if he kidnapped my 7-year-old girl...
Not in New York. You wouldn't have the gun with you.
Oh, yes, I would.
You'd go away.
I carried a gun every day in Chicago when I was there, too. And thank God I didn't get caught. But every single day, snub nose, it was an undercover special 38 revolver with no hammer. So I wouldn't pull coming out of my pocket. It was an undercover special police 38 caliber undercover special.
I think you can buy those up at Alexander's in Blairsville.
Yeah, $40. Don't tell them where you got it.
The parking lot, you get it
There's
cheaper.
no serial number. Anyway, Farmhouse Printing Code.
That's right, farmhouseprintingco.com. Right here, Eric and the gang will print your shirts and hats and signs, all promotional items with no minimum order and no setup fee. They got laser engraving. They do all our printing. They can do all your printing. I mean, all of it, from your business cards to your blankets to whatever you need. They got it right there in Sonoya, Georgia. It's farmhouseprintingco.com. Go online and say hi. They got a doggy too, so go down there and pet
Yes, they do.
him.
Have a beautiful golden retriever girl doggy, and she's very, very sweet. Okay, here we go. The Kimmer Show podcast again. Go to thekimmershow.net, and you can link to us any way you want to. A couple things. Did you watch any of the crowning of the Killer King?
No. I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
I woke up about 11 o'clock, and I thought, well, the Kentucky Derby's later, and then I didn't watch that either. And then I looked down and I said, oh, I completely forgot.
Yeah, it was like a 5-hour thing. Of course, I'm always up early, and I was flipping around, and I saw it. I had forgotten, too, but I noticed it when I was flipping around. Fox covered it pretty much the whole thing. And I have to say, again, I think, the whole idea of a king and a queen is, ridiculous, silly, but
it's fun to let them do it.
I'm happy for them. And honestly, I really enjoyed the ceremony. I didn't watch the whole thing, but the first time I tuned in fact, it was beautiful. It was the costumes and the
regalia.
Regalia. I was trying to say the regalia. I was going to say regality, and the crowns and the jewels and the things and robes and.
But he looks ridiculous.
He's-
She could pull it off.
Yeah,
But
he
the
looked
crown,
like an idiot.
he looks like he's in Burger King.
Yeah, I know. But again, I did enjoy the incredible pomp and circumstance, the uniforms,
Butter.
gold everywhere. Can you imagine the money? It had to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's
of
what
worth.
it was. It was a margarine commercial where you said parquet and the crown would come on.
Butter. Parquet. Butter.
Oh, by the way, Meghan Markle got in.
Oh.
She wore some.
Oh, there she got it. You look good, baby. And they had swords and scepters, and they're doing all this stuff. And by the way, it was also it was done by the Archbishop of Canterbury. It was a very religious ceremony. It was all
he's
God
the head of
stuff.
he's the head of the church.
It was all very, very, very religious ceremony. And I noticed also at the very beginning, for the whole hours of the thing before they put the crown on, he was on a wooden chair. The throne is wood.
Oh, did you see what's behind it?
No.
It was at Westminster Abbey, and in the 1700s, some school kids wrote graffiti and carved their names in it and graffiti into it. And in the old days, you couldn't see it, but now with the great cameras they have now on your TV, your HD or whatever, you can read it behind them. And there's pictures, and you can read where they carved in 300 years ago their names.
I'll be damned. I love it.
What exactly was the purpose for this? Was he becoming a king?
Yeah, he
He became
coronated.
the king, the official king, King Charles III. King Charles I was executed. because,
Lopped his head off.
Yeah, and I got another historical thing here coming up about a famous person in the Bible and what happened to him, too, on this special day.
There's a joke.
Not your regular Bible, but a horrible Bible.
There's a great meme that showed Charles with his crown and everything and said, there's still, work for somebody who's in their 70s and always lived off mom their entire life.
Yeah, find something to do now. I loved watching the horses. Wow, I mean, it just and they're matching, and there was one horse got a little wild, but again, just I can't get enough watching those horses, the way they were trained and behaved. It just magnificent and just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I didn't think much of the queen concubine. I guess they think it's okay that she's a home wrecker. But responsible for him killing Princess Diana, basically.
Well, they said there's hope for side pieces everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. The queen side piece. And by the way, the Killer King looked either angry or upset the whole time. He never. And the whole thing with, the dysfunctional family. Harry, who used to be a war hero type guy, has now been relegated to 3 rows back, and only the older son kissed him on the cheek as part of the changing of the thing. Can you imagine being a part of the family? What's happened now that he wasn't even there for his
And
father to be.
Andrew's not there, his brother.
Yeah, I mean,
was
I
he?
think he
Was
was
he
around.
there?
He was there, but he wasn't part of the immediate family. And again, I mean, what a dysfunctional group of freaking goofs.
Who did we send?
I think Jill was Dr. Jilly was there, the concubine.
Yeah, Dr. Jill Biden.
Where was Kamala? That's
she
kind of
was
a
busy.
slap in the face.
She's now heading, and not only that, she's now the AI.
Yeah, we mentioned last week. She's now in charge of artificial intelligence. Yeah, she had a big meeting with all the 25 institutes. Oh my God. Anyway, I feel bad in a way for having to be part of that family, but I enjoyed the ceremony. I saw a lot of it, and it was good for them. I don't care, but it was fine. The Kentucky Derby, you forgot that too. And by the way, the Kentucky Derby coverage was like 5 or 6 hours. That was a very long time to cover. And the problem is, I obviously as I was doing things, I tuned in and out. But every time I tuned in, it was some feature story, or it was on how to gamble and what the odds were and how the bookmakers were doing this kind of. And I thought, I want to see the horses. They should do it. If you're going to have a 5-hour show of the Kentucky Derby, show the freaking horses. Every single horse, show him when he was born, what he looked like, what he behaved like as a foal, as a colt, how he got to be a racehorse, what his training was. I mean, we want to see the horses. And the stories on the jockeys, too. But again, gambling and betting, and then they had some feature story on an owner who's did a thing over, and I don't know, whatever. But again, I hate watching the race because I'm always afraid some horse is going to stumble, break a leg, and bing, bang, and that's the ball game. And again, scandal of one kind or another is always something. And this year, 7 horses died.
When?
Before the Kentucky Derby ran, 7 horses that were there for the Kentucky Derby had to be euthanized.
Why?
Injuries, problems, broken legs, bones, hoof issues.
20 years from now, there will be no Kentucky Derby.
7 dead horses.
They won't be able to sustain
They banned
this.
another trainer. They said, "You take your horses and leave. We can't."
Well,
trust
that's why
you
they're
now."
killing the horses. They've bred them to the point they can't do that.
Well, again, it used to be the only. I am totally against local horse racing. I'm against state licensed horse racing. It used to be, Saratoga, Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont. The biggest things in the
Oaklawn
world.
and Hot Springs.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few that are so big that they're really pretty much above board. And
Santa Anita.
There's not a lot of gangsters running things.
They're all gangsters.
Well, that may I don't know, but I'm saying if I had my druthers, the 3 or 4 top of those thoroughbred and internationally respected things is one thing. Local horse racing, to me, they put stuff in their noses, sponges and with drugs in them. They're bleeding. I mean, they treat them like crap. It's just, I'm way, way, way against it. And now in this thing, but I did love them watching. I love watching the horse when it was coming on. I love the feature story. Oh, by the way, this always amazes me. As you know, I spent a couple years, many years back in the 80s in Chicago, and one of the years I was there, I was the year that the Chicago Blackhawks, and by the way, I used to ride horses with the daughter of Worth. Penny Worth was her name, was the daughter of the guy who owned the Blackhawks. I could have been married to a billionaire. Anyway, we had a little flirty thing going. Anyway, and that year was the year that Eddie Olczyk was drafted as a rookie, and I think he won Rookie of the Year or MVP or something. He was a major superstar in hockey. And now he's the #1 horse racing commentator.
Really?
And I've always been amazed at how in the world did you go to be a hockey star? I mean, I remember his rookie year. I think he was Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League. A major Chicago hockey star. And now he does horse racing.
More money in that.
I don't know, but good, more power to him. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. And the other thing I did like, 2 things. The camera work these days now because of drones is great. I mean, it's like they're right on top of the horses. You can see them following them from behind as they're galloping and stuff. There's a lot of good camera work now.
I'm surprised that didn't spook the horses.
Well, they're high enough up it doesn't bother them. Plus, if you're on a racehorse, that horse, and I've showed this when I put my videos on my on Rumble and my Facebook page, is that when a horse is running, when a horse is making itself run, they have to force air into their lungs. So you hear them going, hoo, hoo, hoo. I mean, it's loud. They would not hear a drone hovering from 100 feet or 200 feet in the air. But again, and now the other thing was, I loved the biggest fun part to me is watching the companion horses who are the riders riding Western who bring the racehorses out onto the track. And you can see the racehorses are all kind of eating the neck of the horse that's leading them out. They're very high. They're all they're stallions. They're occasionally young, but they're all. They're all pumped up and they're ready to go. And those horses that are so well behaved to let those racehorses bite them and chew on their neck and slobbering all over them. And they're beautiful, big, strong, and it just does my heart good. Anyway, so that was fun. And a Kentucky Derby, and but I don't gamble because I never would have bet on that horse, Mage or something like that. Good for him. Anyway, I'm happy for him. Let's see. Okay, a couple of things. All of a sudden, look, I brought in 4 Al Jazeera Constitution newspaper things, and I'll tell you why. Because this is what's happening, dividing our country. It started with Barack Hussein Putitat. He started it with Ferguson, Missouri. Then he had that Boston College professor business. Remember all that? All this, the division of races against each other, and it worked. And it worked even worse by the time we got to George Floyd, which is again they're sending to prison the cop who held the crowd back. That's all they did was say, ladies and gentlemen, stay back, and he's going to prison for not stopping the cop who was on his neck. Anyway, but it's getting worse and worse. I have four different sections of the Al Jazeera Constitution. The first one was Saturday. Headline: 4 victims improving, but city remains on edge. City remains on edge? Bullshit. Well, the city didn't remain on edge from the shooting days before in Midtown. I mean, come on.
I was never on edge.
But nobody was on
In
edge.
fact, I never even knew what happened.
And then this is Bill Torpy.
Nor did I care.
Bill Torpy. Frightening reality. Now medical offices are not safe.
They've never been.
I mean, come on. I mean, you could say that neither is any elementary school. Every nursery school in America is not safe. Every OBGYN clinic is not safe. I mean, come on. They're just making things to make things. They're doing nasty stories to scare and divide and make us. I mean, that's one. Atlanta Journal Constipation. This is from this morning. I went out of order. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on. Here's another one. This is from Sunday. Here's a picture of a very unattractive
What the hell
painted
is it?
person holding another unattractive painted person. I don't know. It's two people, but they look like cavemen. It look like the guy done the caveman commercials. Anyway, and it says, our view, we don't have to live this way. We don't have to live in fear of visiting the doctor or taking a trip to the supermarket or sending our children to school. But we do live this way. Except one place, Georgia State Capitol building. Under the dome, you have to get a permit to get... They're talking about carrying a firearm now because Georgia can allow firearms. Now, we don't have to live this way, but we do have to live this way because we have guns in Georgia.
Quit voting Democrat. Maybe had a good start to not have to live that way.
This is from Sunday also. Another... Two more. Huge, the whole thing. Shooting highlights risks of everyday life.
No shit.
Recent changes to Georgia's gun laws. And then on the inside, it's a human issue. Gun rights, a conservative liberal. I mean, it's just, and that's only one. Here's another one. Grief and loss, a sense of safety will follow. Injured by gunfire. This is some lead stuff. Anyway, again, that's 5 copies. And one last one from today. Mass shootings are setting record pace. And again, we don't have to live like this, but we do. It's time for change. Oh, my God. I mean, the whole paper.
Well, who are they?
What are they trying
Who
to...
buys the paper
I
anymore?
know. Well, you got to point it out. And again, I just... at some point, I got to the point where I can no longer just get up in the morning, have my cup of coffee, and read the paper and watch Sports Center.
It's
and
propaganda. It's basically telling you you turn in your guns, the government will protect you. Government can't even protect themselves.
It's just unbelievable.
The police can't protect themselves anymore.
Hateful and despicable, and it's not changing. Speaking of hateful and despicable. Did you see the mocking and well-deserved of President Showers with daughter and Vice President Shiftless when they were in a line for a photo op before going out to lunch the other day, and President Potato Head shouted out, "Get in, folks, we're going to lunch." And then Vice President Lazy Shiftless said, "Lunch with my favorite coworker," and they're smiling in the car to go to lunch together. Podcaster reaction, my worst nightmare. So that's what the inside of a clown car looks like. The cringe hurts. Mr. Environment taking a full 30-car motorcade to Subway. Going to lunch and out to lunch are two very different things, sir. You both are out to lunch evergreen forever. You spelled destroying the U.S. economy wrong. That's pretty funny. Going out to lunch, you spelled ruining the economy wrong. Maybe you should invite Robert Kennedy Jr. so he can expose you and Shiftless for the frauds that you are. Anyway, social media was having a good time mocking these idiots. And coming up, possible break in Hollywood. 2 famous Hollywood celebrities are saying, just wait a minute. Excuse me. And also, ways to tell whether you're dating an idiot. Things like that are coming up. Plus, I think Pete might have something for us
a few things
later on or whatever. And in the meantime, I have for you a suggestion. If you have a motor coach or an RV or a camper, a vehicle like that, and you have any kind of a glass issue, broken window, maybe a chip or spider web or a fogged up double pane windows, maybe a crack or something in one of those hard to find one piece totally flat front windshields in some of the RVs and so forth. They take care of it at Wise RV Glass, WISE, Wise RV Glass. And the big news about this company is that not only is it a family company, Dad Carl retired, Russell's doing well at the business, running things here with the whole family, but this is a great company. Wise RV Glass comes to you. You don't have to go driving around or if you're driving around with a broken windshield and a cop pulls you over, you're getting a ticket. You don't have to do anything but make a phone call or get on the web, and they will come to you, all mobile service, all of North Georgia, all of Metro Atlanta as well. And it's a teeny little thing, no problem. And you're saying, well, it's only a side view. Yeah, that's what they do. They love coming to take care of your problem. Any glass issue, RVs, motor coaches, campers, things like that. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Here's a phone number, area code 470-345-6521. And on the web, wiservglass.com. And thank you, Wise RV Glass. A couple things that might be good news. First of all, the actress Evangeline Lilly.
Oh, yeah.
The
Wasp.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my. In fact, I think I for some reason I watched this series. I only watched, I think, like the first episode, and then for some reason I stopped watching.
You should watch it. It's a great show.
I know. Everybody's in the world. It was like Breaking Bad. I didn't watch that until like a year after it was on for some reason.
I mean, the ending was stupid, but it doesn't matter. The whole show was great.
And in fact, was it that there was a secret entity, or was it a ghost? I mean, is anybody get mad if you tell me what the secret was? I mean, because I don't really care. But wasn't it some special ghost or devil thing or something out there?
Well, supposedly they were all dead.
So they were all ghosts.
But there was ghosts. There was it was science.
Yeah, I got you.
No.
Okay. Well, I didn't get it. Whatever.
And she was cute.
Oh, she's beautiful. I mean, she was a handsome woman, just a very beautiful, stately.
Still is.
Yep, and could be on the cover of a shampoo bottle or something. I mean, just a beautiful girl. And she, of course, the Ant-Man actress as well, aside along from Lost. And she says society is villainizing masculinity and applauding femininity in men. She's speaking out against the push to feminize men and masculize women. She says the culture's decided to try to make men less manly. She mentioned her frustration with people in traditional depictions of tough guys wearing boots, driving trucks, fighting people, while loving it if a woman does those things. And again, I mentioned a couple, my little nurse friend and stuff. Did I mention a story about the girls who met me in a heart attack? Did I even mention that? Did I mention why they were there? God, I think okay, at the beginning of this podcast, I mentioned I went to the Marine thing. Did I mention the mother and daughter who met me there today? No. Oh. All right, and I'm going to come back to this thing about.
Sure you will.
I got to keep it here. Okay. Well, I'm going to put this on. I think I'm going to put this on Rumble if I haven't already. It was a nice surprise. Craig Moore did a very nice surprise for me this morning when I showed up to give this little speech thing. And it was when I had my heart attack 10 years ago. I was talking about the heart attack. This is why I should have brought it up. The nurse who took care of me was there this morning at the event to say hi with her mother. And the reason was because, the reason mother-daughter, but the reason was because when I was in the hospital, this sweet nurse, and I'm going to put the video of the whole thing on it. We did a selfie video of the two of them this morning, and I'll put that on there. And she was so sweet and just a great nurse. And this, again, 10 years ago. And she mentioned that her mother was having a birthday, and she was a big fan of the show because she recognized my name or whatever. So I said, let's call her. And I know if you see me and you say, my dad loves your show, call him. Well, I'll talk to him. I always do. I love to do that, surprise people. I always do, every time. If you ever see me, you want me to call somebody, I call him. Anyway, so I called her mom from the hospital bed, and we had a good talk and a good laugh, and it was a wonderful thing. So the two of them showed up to say hi 10 years later because we had such a nice thing. Anyway, so I was so sweet, and that's why I mentioned. There's video of them, which I will, if I didn't already, I'll put it on there. I'm kind of, again, I have a little head case here today. Okay, so Evangeline Lilly has mentioned her frustration with people who complain about tough guys wearing boots and driving trucks and fighting people, while people love it if a woman does, drives a truck and fights people and wears cowboy boots. And she says, why are we only applauding masculinity in women and villainizing it in men? Why are we only applauding femininity in men and debasing it in women? The hot topic, she was correct in noting women are also being detrimentally affected by conversations on gender. She said she weighing in on the hot topic of toxic masculinity, which, by the way, is bullshit. Masculinity is masculinity. If you don't like it, then it's still masculinity that you don't like. I mean, toxic. Oh, let's give it another label, why don't we?
Label
so
it.
we can separate, the men from the real men. God. A notion that traditional views and depictions of manhood are problematic, obtuse, and possibly dangerous in a more civilized, politically correct society. She's saying this is bad for women too, by the way. She skewers the stigmatized stereotypes, saying, quote, "Why can't we just allow for all of it? Why do we feel the need to vilify a man wearing shit-kicker boots, driving a pickup truck, who's not afraid to punch somebody in the face, but if they were a woman, that would be so cool?"
Now we know what she likes.
Why is a man who loves makeup, cries easily, and stays at home to tend to the domestic responsibilities valiant, but a woman who does that is pathetic?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's a great point when you switch it around.
Yeah.
She followed up her comments with a solution. "I think the truly revolutionary act is as old as time. Do not judge. Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, let each be who they are, and let us teach grace and charity above all things," as she tries to find a real man. Baby, I'm here for you. That's right, you and me, baby.
Hey.
Get your stuff. You don't even have to get anything. I'll get it all when we leave. You and me, baby. Come on, baby.
The form I had to fill out this morning said sex, male or female, and underneath sex assigned at birth. and I wrote, I've already answered this question.
Oh my God! So you could pick either one you wanted to.
Yeah, I picked male.
Or sex assigned at birth. They actually have
Sex
that on
assigned
the
at birth.
form.
Yeah.
Oh, how is that even possible?
These are doctors asking this.
Oh my, male, female, or whatever they told you when you were born. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, now how's a doctor supposed to figure that out? It's like the doctor comes in to his patient after he comes in. He says, "Sir, I have your test results back." And he says, "I'm not a sir, I'm a girl." He says, "Oh, all right, ma'am, you have testicular cancer."
There's a sharp rise in that in women.
Yeah, there is.
You noticed that?
I have, and it's not good. Now, here's another actor thing, which I think is really pretty cool, too. Richard Dreyfuss. He is blasting the new Hollywood inclusion standards. And for example, he said he was, of course, in Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He did the
Goodbye Girl.
Goodbye Girl. I mean, I love it. I really think he's a great actor. He's a great character type actor and a leading man. And he said he's blistering the new diversity and inclusion guidelines, which will start with the Academy Award people next year. Any film that wants to be taken seriously for Best Picture will have to have a certain percentage of actors and crew from underrepresented racial and ethnic groups. So when you have a picture that you want to be recognized as a potential Best Picture for the Academy Awards, they're going to come to your movie screen set, and they're going to get your personnel list, and they're going to see whether you have enough black people, gay people, cross-dressing people, tranny people, what else? Underrepresented. Bestiality-loving people.
They're next.
I mean, seriously. And if you don't have the percentage they require, you're not going to get recognized.
Nope.
I mean, my God,
insanity.
we're going. I thought it was, based on the content of your character, not the. I mean, whatever. Everybody's mocking Martin Luther King Jr. forever. This is unbelievable. You can't run a business like that. And by the way, I'm getting a headache thinking about this. Richard Dreyfuss was asked about this, and they said, "What do you think about these new inclusion standards?" He said, quote, "They make me vomit." By the way, I never say that. I hate that word. I said it because it's a quote.
Vomit?
Upchuck, puke, barf, Ralph. Anything is better than that
Technicolor
word.
yawn.
Yeah.
Driving the Buick.
Doing the Buick.
Driving the porcelain bus.
Yeah, the porcelain train. Anything's better than VOMIT. I can't
Vomit.
even.
You don't like
I
that.
can't even say the word. It makes me want to. He said our acting style. It's an art form. It's a form of commerce, and it makes money, but it's an art. And no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. So what are we really risking? Are we risking somebody's getting their feelings hurt? You can't legislate that. You have to let life be life.
Oh, yeah, they can.
He's in for it now. He said, I'm sorry, I don't think there's a minority or a majority in the country that has to be catered to like that.
Thank you. But he'll never work
It's
again.
over, yeah.
But he don't care.
I mean,
What does he care? He's got all the money he
it's
needs.
astounding.
Well, that's good that the tide is. I think the tide is turning.
I
That
think it is.
It's
It might
only
be.
Madison Avenue and Hollywood that's pushing this shit,
Yeah.
and the mainstream media. The rest of the country is like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I think, and the problem, the problem that I believe, the problem that's not swinging it all over to the right side, unfortunately, is Donald Trump. If there were, think about this: if there were no Donald Trump as an issue, so he was not anything to do with anybody but Trump, or I'll vote for anybody but not Donald Trump. If that was no longer a thing to worry about, the whole country would not be concerned with, do we support the conservatives because they have Trump here? I mean, I think people are afraid to take the conservative side because they don't like Donald Trump because he's too divisive, and I think if he were not in the daily bailiwick, people would be much willing to say, these people have a lot more common sense than I thought, but I don't like Donald Trump and I don't want to follow him, but I think you're doing the right thing.
The number one thing they're scared about is being called a racist.
Yeah.
The number two is a MAGA.
Yeah, the MAGA Republican, and that's because that's how they labeled us. I'm not I didn't
Do
even
you
know
think
what
they'll vote the right way at the voting poll?
They haven't so far.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, would something like this drive them to vote Republican?
Well, again, it's the Trump,
You're asking men. You should be asking women.
right?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
if like, what's her name? Riley, the girl, the swimmer who's been going up against Leah.
Yeah.
Like, there's more and more people kind of
or whatever.
going to her side or whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious if the left is going to continue to push trannies and stuff like that playing in women's sports. Will the women's mom or the conservative or the liberal mother go to vote Republicans in the next election
The
because
women's
they're
movement
pushing
has
this?
got to step up. I mean, where are they?
Well,
You think honestly, if you
afraid.
would, if you would,
So
I
they
mean,
they don't say anything and they vote Republican.
afraid.
How could a modern day woman mother who probably works outside the home and raises kids and everything else, and may even be a single mother, how could she stand by and have her 12-year-old daughter be kicked off the swimming team because a boy is a better swimmer?
A mentally
How
ill
could you
boy.
put up with that? How could you stand for that? How could you not be down there saying, "Wait a minute, he's got a dick"? And I'm seriously.
got a rudder. I see it.
He's got a handle.
He's got a rudder in
He's
the
got
water.
a handle on him.
It's not fair. He's got,
I mean, come on.
he's got 3 legs.
Jeez. I mean, I'm serious. Where are the women? Honestly.
They're scared.
But again, they're afraid to stand up because then people will think they're Trump MAGA
The
people.
media will ruin your
Well,
life.
they'll kill them, yeah. Again,
Will ruin
because the
your
First
life.
Amendment's dead. I mean, basically. And here's another. In fact, people are being outraged. Have you heard what's going on over in Europe at the Parliament now? Artwork at the European Parliament in Brussels now has depicted in their art form, this big giant statue thing image, Jesus Christ delivering the Sermon on the Mount while being surrounded by gay men dressed in leather BD sadomasochism outfits. It's part of the lesbian Swedish artist Elizabeth Olsen restricted part of the Parliament building in Europe and Brussels, trying to display Jesus as supportive of LGBTQ, etc. rights.
Now do Muhammad.
She's try that one. She says, boy, there are a lot of pictures of Jesus with heterosexual people, millions and billions of paintings, famous artists, but this is just 12 pictures of Jesus loving the LGBT rights, so 12 pictures should not be so scary for them. Well, one of the pictures includes a naked black man in the position of Jesus on the cross, while a naked white man is cradling him. Everybody's saying, whoa, stop. This is in European Parliament. It's blasphemous. Apostles dressed as sadomasochistic slaves? Jesus. You really think that's a positive image, that Jesus was in favor of sadomasochistic slaves?
Maybe the Muslims are right about some things.
It's legitimate. It's legitimate to address issues of all kinds in institutional settings, but exploring a religion is an intolerable act of respect for millions of faithful throughout Europe. And can you imagine doing it with Muhammad? My God. The Bible, what was that? The satanic verses? He's still got a fat twat. He pulled it up, put it back on.
Charlie Hebdo, when they went in and killed all those people in Paris.
Yeah.
And then remember the Danish cartoonist?
Yeah.
You know how many people died because of that? Over 100 people died because of those cartoons.
They killed the people yeah. Anybody who had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, that's not
Well,
good.
maybe it's going to take something like that.
Well, anyway, that's. But again, it's just
Not calling for that, though. It's brought to you by Atlanta Custom
Yeah,
Closets.
oh, thank you.
ClosetPro.net, 404-255-0589. You can jump out of any closet you want. There's still time for Mother's Day. It's next Sunday,
There you
right?
are.
Is it? Next Sunday?
Yes. Week
Yeah.
from this
You got all week to call and go to ClosetPro.net, Atlanta
Hold
Custom
on a minute.
Closets.
Hold on a minute. 8, 9, 10, 11. No, it's this Sunday. It's 6 days from now.
Yeah, that's what I said,
Yeah,
next Sunday. The next Sunday
The
is
next
Sunday.
coming Sunday, yeah. Otherwise known as this Sunday.
No, that'd be Sunday week.
No, Sunday week would
You're
be
thinking
next
Sunday
Sunday.
week. No, next Sunday is the one coming up, right?
Yes.
This Sunday.
See? It's the one coming up.
This Sunday.
This-
May 14th, which is a Sunday, will be Mother's Day.
And why do we care about that? Because what's coming up for your closets is the famous.
Atlanta Custom Closets,
There you
Mother's
are.
Day.
There you
You
are.
still have time to do this for
That was
Mother's
a great spot.
Day. That's a
Maybe
kind
the
of
best
spot
one.
That will win,
Just
that will
remember-
win a Peabody or something.
Atlanta Custom Closets.
That's right.
That's all you
That's
have
all
to
you gotta
remember.
remember.
Just remember that, you're in.
Forget this whole show.
I bet the
But
whole
remember-
show is remember nothing about this entire enterprise. Oh, dear God. How can you tell? Reddit recently asked, how can you tell when you realize you're suddenly dating an idiot? Well, one girl wrote in and said, we were talking about dinosaurs, and he was shocked to hear that they were real. And then he proceeded to ask me if they really breathed fire. He thought dinosaurs and dragons were the same thing.
They're not?
I thought they were myself. Here we go. Oh, think about this. This will take a second. When he missed, this is a girl call. When he missed his daily medication, instead of just putting it back to use it for the next day, he threw it out. So he had the pill for today, and he forgot to take it. So when he realized it, he took it and threw it in the garbage instead of just leaving it in to take the next day. He thought you had to take a specific. Oh my God! A guy wrote in, she preheated the microwave.
Will it work if there's nothing in there?
One of my other favorites. My wife. Think about this for a second. My wife would bring stuff home from the store and it said, refrigerator after opening. Refrigerate after opening. So she would open it and put it in the refrigerator. Instead of waiting to open it when she needed it, she thought it meant she had to open it and then put it in the refrigerator. So she only bought stuff you could use that day. Because things say good for next June, next 2024. But she would open it and then put it in the refrigerator. I think I got one more. We were doing a fun fact about me type icebreaker in a group, and my boyfriend said, I've never read a book. Another one. I introduced him to my stepsister. He said, God, Weirs, you guys don't look anything alike. And lastly, my boyfriend was curious about the amount of fat in water. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it could actually happen to you.
Right. We're driving. My dad and me were driving, and it was my ex-wife. We're driving a car. She was raised in the city up north.
Yeah.
And we're driving across Alabama and Mississippi, and she's looking out at the pastures and all the cows going by. And you know those big rolls of hay? It's like, like
Hay,
Swiss
yeah.
rolls.
They're
So
big
like
ones, yeah.
Big ones. She's driving, she's looking and looking and looking. And finally she blurts out, Look at all those weird-shaped rocks out there.
Rocks.
My dad nearly drove off the road.
Oh, my Lord. Holy
So
cow.
you've been looking at these weird-shaped rocks that all look the same from Georgia to Mississippi.
Oh, my God. Did I give you your paycheck? Okay. I totally
Bi-monthly pay insult?
Just forgot. No, just forgot. I've got a weird bad day in history, and something I have to admit as an ordained minister.
Get yourself something nice with that.
Yeah, go pick out some used shoes or something. Used tires would be nice for your vehicle. As an ordained minister, I'm kind of embarrassed that I did not know about this particular story, but this was a day in the year 1632. Readers of the 1631 edition of the King James Bible were shocked or perhaps pleasantly surprised in the 1631 edition on this day when they came across the seventh commandment in the book of Exodus. Thou shalt commit adultery. Then there was the apparent blasphemy found in Deuteronomy chapter 5. Quote, the Lord hath shewed us his glory and his great ass. It was supposed to be the word greatness, but it was his great ass. With these egregious errors, the 1631 version became known as the Wicked Bible or the Adulterous Bible. And on May 8th, 1632, the printers were hauled before the fearsome Star Chamber for their blasphemous mistakes with the additional charge of printing the Bible on bad paper. I knew the time when great care was had about printing the Bibles, especially, declared the appalled Archbishop of Canterbury. Good compositors and the best correctors were gotten, being grave and learned men, the paper and the letter rare, the fare every way of the best. But now the paper is naught, and the composers boys, and the correctors unlearned. I love the way he used to speak and write back then. Worse, he said, even the dreaded Catholics took better care with their superstitious books. The printers were heavily fined and banned from their profession, but they were lucky enough not to have been mutilated or murdered in a gruesome punishment of the day. Meantime, history has no record of how many marital beds may have been violated with blessings from the Wicked Bible of 1631.
The computer.
A couple of birthdays of note. Melissa Gilbert. Remember Melissa Gilbert? She's married to Timothy Busfield, who was on one of those TV 30-something.
Well, he was in, oh, God. What's the one?
I can't remember either.
Oh, no, you know, the baseball movie with Costner.
Yeah, a great day. He will come, dream of dreams, world of dreams.
Field of dreams.
Field of dreams. Field of dreams. World of dreaming your field. Melissa Gilbert is 59, married to Timothy Busfield for 10 years. Which is nice. Enrique Iglesias, the singer, 48. Tony Tennille from. Now I can't believe this. The Captain and Tennille, Muskrat Love. And they had one I liked.
Oh, they had a lot.
What was the one? Was that the one? The Tire
Love
Ribbon?
will
That was
keep
Tony
us
Orlando
together.
Captain and Tennille. Tony Tennille is 83.
Yeah, she was big when I was a kid.
Holy moly!
Good-looking woman.
Sir David Attenborough, 97. His brother was the other explorer guy,
Richard.
and in fact, there's a meme going around that it said it showed showed Attenborough, the explorer, and his family, and the family was saying, "Oh my God, he's got to show us every freaking rock and gully on the way to our destination," because he's an explorer.
You know, AI can read anything in his voice.
I know. Yep, that's right. And last birthday, NFL coach and talking guy now on the I think ESPN still, or maybe NFL channel, ESPN I think. Bill Cowher, 66.
CBS
today. CBS. Oh, that's right, CBS. I don't watch them, so I didn't know. Let's see. Coming up next, historical notes. But first, this word from our friends at swapmywhip.com. Whip, of course, being a colloquial phrase for a car, a ride. And if you're driving along and you see a car you've always wanted, oh man, I'd love to find one of those cars again. Well, maybe you can. If you go to swapmywhip.com, you may just find like-minded car owners who don't want to mess with dealerships and middlemen and used car salesmen and so forth. And they've got a car that it's theirs, and they would love to trade it for something they've always liked. And maybe your car is the exact match that they want. Or you see what they have, and your buddy wants that, and you've got your car that's his buddy. You make your own thing. You check it out, look for what you can see. Oh, that might be fun to check out, and it's worth checking out because after all, it's right there in front of you, swapmywhip.com. And it's not just cars. Obviously, trucks and SUVs and boats, jet skis, off-road vehicles, ATVs, I'm sure go-karts, probably motorcycles and electric bicycles and whatever. If it runs and rides, I'll bet you could probably make your own deal on swapmywhip.com. And if you use the coupon code KIMMER, KIMMER, you get 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. And again, our grateful appreciation for our sponsors here on the Kimmer Show podcast. And all traffic and weather together. Not really. Let's see, a couple of historical notes.
Getting ready?
This is, what's that?
Getting ready?
For what would I do?
Nothing.
For something bad? I'm getting ready a little. I'm not sure why. 1945, this is VE Day, victory in Europe. President Truman and Winston Churchill announced victory in Europe, the defeat of Nazi Germany. We won. 1978, David Berkowitz admits he's the son of Sam and guilty of 6 murders. Berkowitz also admitted being a notorious firebug named the Phantom of the Bronx. He even had a diary. David Berkowitz, son of Sam, he had a diary detailing how he set 2,000 arson fires in a 4-year period. I had no idea. 1794, Antoine Lavoisier was the famous Frenchman who discovered oxygen. He discovered oxygen. Antoine Lavoisier, and on this day, after they had claimed he was guilty of fraud because he was part of some taxing authority in France, they claimed he was guilty of fraud. And so on this day in 1794, the man who invented oxygen, discovered oxygen, had his head chopped off on the guillotine. Unfortunately, 18 months later, they said, oh, crap, he didn't do it after all. Somebody set him up. Too bad. 1956. You'll remember this. Flounder, I have no idea.
I won't remember that.
Well, you'll remember because of you're a writer and
okay.
a reading guy. 1956, Alfred E. Newman appeared on the cover of Mad Magazine for the first time. What, me worry? Now, I assume you know Mad Magazine and Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, I was a cracked person myself.
Oh, there you go. Now, Flounder, have you even heard of Alfred E. Newman?
I've heard the name,
What, me
yes.
worry? Mad Magazine?
I never found it funny.
It was different. To me, it wasn't as funny. Well, I had some funny. I'm
Well,
thinking
the
of
whole
the funny
What Me
cartoons
Worry
it
thing
had.
wasn't funny.
No, that wasn't funny. It was just. I don't think it was meant to be funny. I think it was meant to be so your parents didn't want you to read it. I mean, Mad Magazine. It was not dirty, but it was kind of controversial, and at the time
50s.
in the 1950s, this was, you didn't have if your hair went down to your collar, you were a hood.
They were banning comic books then.
Yeah. So Mad Magazine was kind of a tweaking little. It was not dirty and it wasn't offensive, but it was different and it was sort of off-putting to parents. Anyway, that was 1950s.
Like National Lampoon was to us in the 70s.
Yeah, there you go. National Lampoon was a better example. But again, that was funny. I mean, that was more of a comedy, stick it in your ear magazine than Mad Magazine was. Let's see. One more. 1985, the fraud known as New Coke was unleashed on an unsuspecting public on purpose. The 99th anniversary of Coca-Cola. And it tasted like crap. And the reason it tasted like crap is because they changed the sugar and they changed the carbonation and they didn't use the same everything as anything else. And in fact, Pemberton originally, we mentioned last time, it was actually the anniversary of him filing the patent for Coke. Originally had cocaine in it, and his original formula was just with water. And then one of his assistants said, "Hey, you know what? Let's put some carbonation in there." And boom,
It came in metal cans too, like oil cans.
Yeah. Everything was different back then. Oil can, Coke, I have no idea. We have a comedy thing. Flounder, do you have that girl named Amy? This was funny. You sent us a thing named Amy. It was a girl named Amy, and it was either a message app or a something app. I swear you sent it to us a few days ago, probably over the weekend.
I'd want to tell him that before the show.
Well, I thought you're the one who sent it to me, so you should have it. and I'll find it if you can't.
Well, while y'all are looking for that, I'll tell
Yes.
you something cool that happened over the weekend.
All right, sir.
The very end of Edmund Fitzgerald is the song.
Yeah.
It says, in a musty old hall in Detroit they prayed, in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral, the church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. Well, the Mariners Church in Detroit rang it 30 times over the weekend, one more for Gordon.
I'll be damned. That's very, because he died, passed away. I got it right in front of me.
I found it.
Okay, yeah, it's Amy, a Comedy Cellar.
The plus size girl.
It's a Comedy Cellar on Instagram. Power structures are complicated, and a girl named Amy Miller, who is talking about homeless panhandlers and sharing food and things like that. And she's pretty funny. I didn't know her. And Amy Miller.
Well, while he's looking for
And
that,
we'll get that here in a second.
Daryl points out that every girl wants to be swept off her feet.
Yes.
It's when you put her in the trunk she starts to freak
Well,
out.
that's the one thing they don't want. Well, they say, you lock your dog in the trunk of your car for an hour, you lock your wife in the trunk of the car for an hour the next day, and see who's happy to see you.
Ewan McGregor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little decent dancer, singer,
Scottish.
Hollywood.
Scottish guy that
Yeah.
was in Moulin Rouge
Yep,
and
he
Fargo.
did, with the redheaded Australian girl married to Tom Cruise.
Yeah. He's not married. His brother is Colin McGregor, is a pilot in the Royal Air Force. And his aviator nickname is OB2. Why is that?
Obi-Wan would be...
Obi-Wan is
his,
Ewan McGregor. He played Obi-Wan.
Oh, he played Ewan McGregor? Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan?
in the second batch of the movie.
I
and
did
in the
not know that.
miniseries.
Right, which was considered 1, 2,
You mean
and
his
3.
voice? Because Obi-Wan was the little robot, right?
No, Obi-Wan's the old Alec Guinness.
Obi-Wan
God,
was
that's
the old
right.
Jedi.
Oh,
He
yeah.
played him younger.
Obi-Wan
So he's
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan,
I got it.
and his brother's Obi-2.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty
Did you
funny.
find it? Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
That's cool. All right, listen to this.
We'll always be ready. We'll always.
And she's a large girl. She's a large
She's a big girl.
individual.
We like big.
I've been making some wild moves lately, just bold choices. I made a really strong choice today to just take a nice walk when it was sunny for a minute and just have an ice cream cone in public. And I walked by this homeless dude, and he was like, "Hey, you really think you need that ice cream?" I know. He goes, "You're already fat." I was like, "Do you know why, sir?" He was like, "Why?" I was like, "Oh, because I've been eating food at my house."
At my house.
Oh. Oh my God. Oh wow. That's harsh.
Well, he got what he deserved.
Eating food at my house.
Stupid bastard. Yeah, call me fat. Go ahead.
Well, they may have been talking about her. In fact, the big girls like sex shops. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I did not know. I should go into some. I didn't know.
So here's sent the note to one of these ladies. Thank you for ordering from our sex shop. You asked for the large red dildo as featured on our wall.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, please select another product because that is our fire extinguisher.
Oh my God.
All right, Donnie says, sometimes when Kimmer is trying to navigate through one of his stories and gets lost,
It got lost,
it's
yeah.
like he turns on his Waze app, and Biden is his navigator. He's never going to get there.
Explain to me this.
All right.
Last night, I knew I was going to Cobblestone Golf Course for the charity event for the Marines this morning. So last night, just for the heck of it, I used to play golf at Cobblestone 30 years ago. But I haven't been there and since where I live now and forever. So I didn't know whether I had to go down 400 to 285 and back up 75, or I could cut across whatever. So I put Waze on my phone last night. In the house, not in the car, just in the house.
In the house.
And I put the Waze and I put in Cobblestone Golf Course. And sure enough, I hit the Waze and it showed me the directions and the thing, Route 92 south and, through Alpharetta and Roswell, so on and so forth. Okay, so this morning, I started on Maxwell and 92. Okay, so this morning I get in the car. I drive out of the neighborhood. I get on 92 and I put the Waze on and I start clicking it. And it says, not available. Check your settings. So then I went to Google. I said, well, now, wait a minute. If I don't have Waze, I don't know how to get there. I mean, I'm on Route 92, but I don't know how to get to Cobblestone. And they don't even open until 7. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I don't even know how to get there. So I called the girl they called Molly Marine, whose name is Karen, who is my kind of liaison. And so I had to call her on the way and say, I don't know what to do because my thing won't work. And I even, and the Waze didn't work. So then I went to Google on my phone and I typed in cobblestone golf course, and it said, "Oh, you're not connecting to the so and so. Check your settings for devices or something." And so how the hell did that happen? From last night, all of a sudden this morning, nothing works on my phone. So then I went into settings and I started scrolling down. There was no setting that they said to check. So I just started hitting things that looked like they were closed, and all of a sudden now Waze works. But how did that, Waze and Google went off last night somehow, and I didn't have them this morning when I tried to get them on, and I didn't do anything and didn't even know how to get them back, and now they're back. And I don't know why.
Well, was it because you didn't have service where you were driving?
I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe, but
if Google
again,
Map didn't work either, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bull crap. Anyway, so I had to call her and say, well, go down, and it's the second light, you know, and one of those.
Just pull into a Texaco station and ask the kindly gentleman
they'll help you a
to
lot.
check your oil and give you a map.
Yeah, with your little bow tie, and let me get that, check your radiator, too, if it's cool enough. Anyway, so.
Joe says starting your day with an early morning run is a great way to make sure your day can't get any worse than it started.
I used to go late in the day. I used to take my dog until I almost killed him because he couldn't handle it.
I got up this morning at 6 o'clock, and I looked out the door, and there's a friggin' turkey walking across the front pasture.
Really?
A turkey.
Wow. Up in the Northeast, where I grew up on our Donald Ross golf course, we had wild turkeys by the hundreds. I mean, they were everywhere.
Let's see. Here's a license plate. In fact, write this down as I tell you. This is a license plate. Okay. I'm going to write this down.
Yeah.
B
J
6 9 K F C.
69 Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And someone wrote, sounds like a good night to me.
Something really fun, and then something really fun, and then Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Landon says, my grandfather is a 96-year-old German. When he watches the Antifa videos, he shakes his head and says, we didn't think it could happen in Germany either. These people act and sound like the Nazi Party's Sturmabteilung. Stop them now or you'll regret it.
I saw last night interviewed, I think it was on, it could have been on Tucker, it was on Jesse, it was somebody. Oh, no, it was a Sunday night show on the guy who does the Sunday night on Fox show. He interviewed, he on with him, a woman from North Korea who got out of North Korea went to China, South Korea, and America, showed up, and she's now some special leader of something or other. She's quite knowledgeable, and probably looked like 30, 35-year-old woman. Very good-looking woman, North Korean, went to Columbia University. She said when she went to New York City, Columbia University, she said she couldn't believe how the students in her classes were basically even worse than the kind of restrictions they had about speaking in North Korea. She said if you tried to say something they didn't like in that class, they clobbered you. She said people were so afraid to speak your mind, to speak the truth, to have freedom of speech in Columbia University was worse than when she was in school in North Korea.
Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, you know, and she by the way, she said in North Korea they have unrestricted crime punishment. In other words, if you do something, she said her mother used to warn her about speaking. She said, don't say anything to anybody that could be misinterpreted, because if they accuse you of a crime, they punish the whole family. And there used to be, years ago, people who would go back 8 generations and try to find your relatives to punish them too. And it was called communal punishment or something, where the whole damn family was punished in North Korea. And she said it was, in classroom, it was worse than North Korea because there's no freedom of speech or ideas. That's the worst part is no freedom of ideas. These people shout down to Supreme Court justice, want to talk about the law.
They're making a world they're going to have to live in.
God.
Tired of being politically correct is a lady on Twitter, and she has a way to get these teachers who think they're smarter than you and are trying to indoctrinate and groom your children, which is most of the teachers. Yeah. Says, dear teachers, you have been put on notice. There will be no pride flags, no LGBTQ plus flags, no BLM flags in my child's classroom. You also will not discuss your personal sex life with my child and the other students. If you attempt to do any of these things, I will report you not only to DFACS, but I will also then fill out my state-mandated paperwork, and you will be investigated. And then I will be a complaint for your child abuse with the local police. I will make your life hell. You have left me no choice. Leave the kids alone.
Wow. And this is from some mother and
Mother.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, U.S. born and raised is what she calls herself.
Yeah.
And she just had it with the teachers.
Yeah.
That's another thing I was thinking about. I heard some ad about we're doing something special for the teachers. It's teachers' night or something like that. And I'm saying, why do we do this?
Yeah.
There's individual good teachers, but the majority of them are bad at what they do
the union
and
leadership.
evil in certain senses. They're union.
Have you noticed that the BlackRock commercial? You know, of course, BlackRock now is one of those, equity and
Owns
geography
everything.
and everything. So, trying to go totally green with investments.
Well, they
for other
buy
companies.
a lot of property and then raise the
Yeah,
jet.
but you've heard of BlackRock. Glenn, what's his name? Glenn, who's the guy who does the morning 9 o'clock show?
Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck. It talks about him all the time. BlackRock does advertising, and one of their favorite advertising commercials is a teacher. And here's Bill Fernman. Kids love him. They're all climbing all over him, and the people love him, and the kids love him. And he says, I love the opportunity to teach and one day to retire and be able to love America the way we all love America. Yes, helping teachers and every American. BlackRock. And I'm thinking, you lying bastards. BlackRock and there are three of them. Vanguard, BlackRock, and there's one more, Apollo or something.
Halliburton.
Yeah, I
is
can't
up
remember
there,
what it is.
too.
Anyway, and they're, this is what they do. And they're lying to you.
I agree. All right.
What
We
else?
already decided that. I think that was
Bad
all-
Text Theater?
Well, close, but first, as he finds the joke, the truly tasteless joke of the day.
We're warning you.
This one's okay.
We're warning you.
What did the man in the shower die of?
What did the man in the shower die of?
Think soap.
Well, how about, I don't know.
Poison ivory.
Thank you.
Poison ivory.
Poison ivory.
All right,
ladies
you
and
find
gentlemen.
one net for us?
I believe, is it
your
Sunday,
job.
April 30th, Judge to Mother?
Okay, are you the judge or the well, wait a minute. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. This is a three-parter.
So we can.
So we have a judge, we have a mother, and we have a father. So what we
I'll
shall...
be the mother, and you can be the judge and the father.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, you're
All right.
confusing me.
All right, there's three characters. I should have printed this out so we all could do
Yeah,
it,
so
but what
all
the
right.
hell. Okay. I'm the judge and the father, you're the mother, so I will start off. I'm a judge talking to the mother in the courtroom.
Okay.
So why do you believe you should get custody of the child, ma'am?
I brought him into this world, so I feel I should have him.
That seems a fair reason. Sir, why do you feel you should have custody of the child? Well, Your Honor, if I put a coin in the Coke machine and it spits out a Coke, is it mine or the machine?
Yeah, take that, lady. You excoriator. All right, boys. Anything else going on here?
Oh,
I'll
God,
get
let's
to
see.
it, all
Monday, what's going on this week? I guess we'll be back here Thursday, but I can't remember.
Well, let's
What's
see.
Mother's Day Sunday.
Derby's done, and
Derby's over.
I don't know what's going on.
Braves
Mother's
are off
Day, Mother's
today.
Day is Sunday. Don't forget that.
The Red Sox are in town, right? For 2?
Yes.
And they're playing great. They're aren't they doing great this year? Red Sox and Baltimore both really doing well, I think.
What do you think? I mean, we didn't talk about it earlier, but yesterday with Acuna's throw to third to get that guy out.
Well, it bounced once, and he can hit that on the fly, but he bounced it once and it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Guy's got a rocket for an
Roberto
arm.
Clemente out there is what it is.
Didn't he make that great play where he spun around in the outfield also when he caught that one on the ground? Wasn't it Acuna?
And then the other thing I was going to ask you, Pete, there was a shortstop. Did you see? It was trending last week where he caught a ball, flipped it up, and then threw it.
No, I didn't see
So
that.
he was showboating. I mean, usually you do that at practice or something like that, but he caught the ball and then flipped it up during a play and then threw it.
Ron Washington would have had his
I
scalp.
noticed they got rid of Grissom temporarily.
Well, here's the thing. What you saw yesterday was a major league shortstop, Orlando Arcia. He made 2 plays out there that in fact, there's one where he bobbled it, went up in the air, and he caught it, but he still threw the guy out. That's plays that Vaughn Grissom will never make.
Well,
he's not a
he's
short.
only- he's 20.
He's young, but he just does strike me. To me, I think he's just too tall. He's too big.
Well, I think he's.
And there's some that can do it. Like Ripken did it, and Rodriguez did it. I don't think Grissom is a shortstop. I really don't. And first, if they're going to make him an outfielder, he don't hit for all that much power. So, frankly, he's going to be a good player. Grissom may be one of those that we trade because Shoemaker's a really good defensive player. He just doesn't hit as much.
Yeah. Well, I just think I think he tries to be too quick. I think instead,
He's nervous.
catch the ball and smoothly do your thing. But I think he has like quick fire reaction muscles, and that's why the throws go over his freaking head. You got to be you have a one thing. It's got to be a one thing.
Well, you saw Orlando Arcia is a major league shortstop, and it makes all the difference. And they said they can carry him. The rest of the lineup hits. Well, hell, he's hitting too.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can hit the ball, even if you don't get a hit, if you put it in play, chances are someone's going to take a base.
And he's going to save you 1 or 2 runs a game anyway. So, I got no problem with him playing shortstop, and I have no problem with Grissom down and Shoemaker up. Yeah. And the thing is, the problem they just reenacted Travis d'Arnaud's back now for tomorrow. So they sent down Grissom, and they sent down Chadwick Trump. But at some point, they have to make a thing with Marcel, either keep him or trade him.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of money on that contract.
Yeah. So who would take him? Yeah.
Well, he had a couple of homers. He comes once in a while to hit a home run, and then he sucks. Right. So what do you do with a guy who hits a home run?
If you can't trade him, just let him every once in a while pinch hit or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, well, boys, it's good to be back, and God bless America. Hoorah, Semper Fi. I got to go. You're killing me. Look out. Herp and a hoop and a hitch.
Rocco's.
Hey, Wacko, what?
That's a change. Kimmer asks to speak to a Karen.
Yeah. Herp. I got to